Well, what's interesting though is like when I hear guys like you talk about your pursuits of manhood, your pursuits of God, your pursuits of understanding how to navigate the world, which is, really what this channel is about at Church with Chris. It's like how is the body of Christ supposed to navigate the world, right? We have the Bible. Sometimes it takes fleshing out and it takes conversations and it takes like and I have people on here who I trust and who I look to who have either impacted me or who I'm trying to be more like and man, what is God doing in your life and how is he working through you? The problem with that is when you think about society as a whole, they're not looking at that. People
Who?
anybody,
Okay.
most people, generally
Yeah.
speaking, are not looking at this. So you can take the general blanket statements of, just I think what the attitude towards men right now is, depending on what threads you're on, depending on what types of people you listen to, is just F the patriarchy.
Yeah.
Men are evil. Men are bad. Men cause all the bad things in the world. Men are the only ones that are bad. And for this reason, this reason, this reason, there's plenty of reasons we can point to. But that seems to be just this overarching narrative right now. Men don't want women to have anything. Men don't want to sacrifice anything. They are selfish. They ruin relationships and societies and all these other things. This is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys are hearing different things. Maybe you follow different things. But just culturally speaking, how are we supposed to navigate that? It's just so crazy to see and hear you guys talk the way you're talking. And it's frustrating for me to hear those other bigger kind of overarching narratives and voices when it's like, yeah, people have been hurt by men. And yeah, there are a lot of reasons that we suck at a lot
Right.
of different things. But it hurts my heart when I hear that because I'm like, man, I'm trying so hard. And it just feels like that's not acknowledged at all. Now maybe it is by your spouse or the people closest to you, but just like in general, how do we turn the tide of how people think about men and manhood and masculinity? What is masculinity supposed to be?
I don't think we're meant to turn the tide. And I think that it's uh
Turn the tide or fix the perception of?
no,
Okay.
I don't think we are.
What
And
do you
it's like
mean?
we're well, let me explain. Uh like we're called to be godly men, right? We know that that will be rejected by the world, right? We're told that in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also told that it's going to be a pretty tough go. And guess what? It's true. It is, right? And the fact that God's word prepares us for that and doesn't prepare us for like an alien attack from peanut butter sandwiches, right? Means that it's something that we will experience and that he knows we will experience. And he is giving us a ton of ammunition to combat those feelings.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying, I am with you. Be
Yeah.
strong. Here's strength, right? For a reason. It's not because things are going to be so easy. It's not because we're going to be attacked by peanut butter sandwiches. He doesn't give any guidance for that, right? He knows what we need. And so if we're operating the way that we're supposed to be operating as men, we don't have to worry about turning the tide. We have to worry about every single day being day one of being a good man. And how many day ones can you stack together, right? Yes, like dudes have done some bad things. They have, they are currently, they will continue to, right? We can start like as humans aiming at almost anything we want to point blame. And if it feels like the wave is pointing the blame at men right now, great. I don't know what the next wave is going to be, right? But we're charged not to change the perception, but to operate in such a way where perception could be altered by how we conduct ourselves, right? But we're not going out there saying like men are good, men are the best. Like that's just not true to begin with, and we're also not called to do that, right? We're called to be godly men and let it, where does in the Bible it says like let them know you by your works, right?
Mm-hmm.
And and that's the warm blanket that we can rest under. right? How many day ones can you stack together of being a good man so that you can put together a life that you can say, like, I truly believe that I operated in the right way, and I like, you know, Bible based, like aiming towards like godly pursuits instead of focusing on the things of this world. And it might be easy to get lost in it. It will be, right? Because that's all we have is what we can see, right, in this world. So it's like, yeah, there's going to be distractions. We are fed stuff that we don't want to get fed all the time. And no one ever said it was going to be easy. So it's kind of like, it's kind of exciting to be, to know that there's so much more than the challenges that we might be facing or the script that someone might be reading about us.
What do you think, Chris?
I like the day one idea.
Mm-hmm.
All you can really do, all you can really control is what you do, and wake up and pursue God that day. And you know, I think the thing I'm afraid of is what you see culturally when people give up that pursuit because it doesn't feel like it's making a difference. And that's probably just the Christian life in general to describe just the Christian life. I mean, I know obviously everybody listening is not a Christian, or doesn't care about the Bible or anything like that. And that's fine. I disagree with it, right, as a lifestyle, but I get it. And it can just be really, if you feed into the, because you on one hand, you can be a woman and you can say, I'm going to buy this narrative. And yeah, you're right. And I'm going to join in those voices. And this is what I'm supposed to believe. This is what I believe because it's what I'm being told to believe. As a man, you can also buy into that and say, yeah, well, I'm trying really hard and I just give up because nothing I do changes anything.
You're going to get that.
You are going to get that.
You're going to feel it deep, and it's going to suck. And you're going to be like, man, like I can't do anything, can I?
Mm-hmm.
The reality is you can, right? Like how you feel about that stuff doesn't matter. Feelings don't matter. How we operate, like objectively, how we can demonstrate like our aptitude for developing strong relationships with each other, strong relationships in the community, being a contributor, being kind, being generous, like demonstrate the things, right? And if you're feeling something like, I feel tired, I'm not going to get up today. Well, no, like you're not allowed to not get up today. You feel a way and you're going to let your feelings influence how you operate. It's like, that's a no-fly zone. Like that's where discipline enters the equation now, right? Like I'm going to be disciplined enough to know that I'm going to go through this struggle and it's going to suck. And I'm going to like feel the burn, whatever that burn might be. And I'm going to keep moving because I know on the other side of this, that's where I'm supposed to be. And so like the feelings hurt, man. They hurt.
They hurt. And they seem to for me personally, and maybe you guys feel this way, they can override my immediate relationships. Like the impact, I will severely undervalue the impact that my life has on the people around me. So like if I listen to an overarching narrative of like, you're a piece of crap because you're a man and that's it, because even though you don't know anything about me or how I treat anybody around me, it can just create a cynicism, I think, in me. So I think I like your point about like it is going to happen. Like it doesn't matter how much you try to impact the world, you are going to get kind of crapped on sometimes in some ways. But you can only do so much. I didn't really answer your question because I don't have a good answer for I don't know how to like turn the tide on that. And when I say turn the tide, I don't mean, oh, now women are bad.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about that. I'm saying, or trying to be better than women. I'm just saying turn the tide on how society talks about and thinks about men.
Yeah.
Being strong, being good leaders, being capable. Every TV show you watch from 1990 to now has a man as a freaking
who's stupid
oaf and like idiot, and a wife who just either can't stand them, makes fun of them, handles the entire house. Like now, if that's a caricature of real life and like reality, that's fine. That's not our reality. I don't think that's y'all's realities either, but it can just feel like really swimming against the stream, swimming upstream sometimes to try to change that perception. Do you feel that?
I think passivity for men is a problem. And I think that leads to pushover men that get taken advantage of. And by that I mean that if you're passive, you're not going to stand up for what is right. Therefore you kind of take a back seat, and those caricatures in those TV shows become true because that's what a lot of people have seen. Regards of turning the tide, if I, as a man, as a married man who has a child, am called each day to lead my family, to love my family, and guide my family. If I go full bore into that, that is my responsibility. If that and other men doing the exact same thing is what God uses to, let's say, reform society, so be it. Great. I think that can happen. I also think, as society in general always is going through pendulum swings of what they think. You can go back to the 60s and 70s where, it was, this very like loose, laissez-faire type hippie sex of society. Then you swing to the 80s and 90s where you've got like, this patriarchy idea like really like kind of started to be fresh again. And what I mean by that is, you had just a lot of like male leaders in everything. And now it's kind of swinging back the other way of just more broad ideas. And so it's not, this probably repels some, not you guys, but it's not my issue or my problem to honestly take care of society. What I'm called to do every day is to lead my family for the glory of God, serving Him, loving Him. If that is, like I said a minute ago, what He uses to change the society around me, awesome. And impact my neighbors and coworkers. And if I am, at work, if I work hard and I respect and honor my coworkers and that changes their life, awesome. If I, interact with somebody at the gas station and I'm kind to them and that changes their life, awesome. But it is not in my hands as something like I control, like I should not like lose sleep over, like how can I reshape society? But I'm called to be a principled man who wakes up with every day and exercises integrity and respect and honor. But I'm also called to lead in certain ways. And if that is what God uses to like, and I'm not even talking like, hail the patriarchy. Like I'm not saying that. But if someone who despises male leadership interacts with me and sees a hopefully good form of male leadership, and if that like changes their mind, awesome. Yeah. But I'm not setting out to be like, I want you to love male leaders. Like,
right. I think you guys are preaching the same thing.
Yeah.
Which is great. Yeah. Like a consistent, like, what can I do? What can I control? Who can I influence, in my pursuit of God and honoring Him and serving the people around me? Because I think some people have much more influence than others.
Yeah,
and those
sure.
are typically the louder voices, right? Whether they're positive or negative. Dave, I was kind of looking up.
I also don't feel called to be a politician.
Sure.
So if I did, my answer would probably be a little bit different.
Well, it's like that's a specific burden.
Yeah.
And
if I wanted to run for city council, I'd probably answer different. And all power to them if they want to, influence society in that way. I don't feel burdened to run for any kind of office.
And so you were getting at this point of like, it's not my burden. And I like that. I feel like it's so important for dudes to know that, right? Like it is not like, I want men to feel encouraged to be good men. And you're like, if you're charged to solve the world's problems, go solve them. If you're charged to lead your home, lead it, right? Like we're all charged to do different
Right.
things. And so as we're navigating and we're hearing, like, if we are getting any kind of sense of like cynicism or anything like that, because like this is what society thinks of me, and it's like, okay, well, let's compare that with your objective reality.
Yeah.
Are you a dick? Yes? Okay, great. Like go, maybe they got it right for you, you know? Are you not? Well, great. They got it
Yeah.
wrong for you. Okay? Like don't sweat that stuff. People are going to see you from the outside. They're going to see you in one instance maybe and think you're made of gold or think you're made of not gold, right? Like, and guess what? Guess how much that matters? It doesn't, right? Like you are charged to do the best that you can be doing every single day, and whatever other someone else's perception of you shouldn't influence your self-worth of yourself. Like you're operating for one person, right? Or for one God, right? And that's the filter, man.